You will discover if you could survive Medusa's forbidden gaze, and the secret she holds in the shadows, hidden even from the gods. The cold invades your skin before your eyes even adjust to the darkness. All around, warriors and heroes remain in eternal silence, turned to stone the very moment terror took hold of their faces. Frozen screams, hands raised in despair. The cave floor is strewn with fragments of bodies, broken as if they were discarded statues. But none of them were carved. They lived, they breathed, they fought, until they saw what you are about to see. The air grows thick. The sound of dripping water seems louder than your heartbeat. You realize then Medusa isn't hunting. She's protecting something not even the gods dared to face. The whisper of serpents cuts through the silence. You feel her eyes somewhere in the darkness. If the next step decides your life, would you step forward to face the monster or close your eyes, accepting being turned to stone forever? Tell us in the comments which country and city you're watching from and what time it is. I want to see how far Medusa's gaze reached. The cave breathes like a sleeping body. The walls are damp, covered in dark moss that drips at regular intervals. Each drop echoes too loudly, as if a clock ticking down the clock until its sentencing. The air smells of rusty iron mixed with silence, a silence so dense it seems to press against your ears. As he progresses, he realizes that these aren't just warriors turned to stone. There are familiar heroes, figures you've heard of in legends, and even animals petrified at the precise moment of their escape. Horses frozen mid-gallop, birds with wings spread, mouths locked in screams that never cease. The scene is a museum of horrors that no mortal or god would dare catalog. A light voice permeates the air, ironic, as if laughing at you. Hermes whispers, "I've never seen a museum so quiet and so expensive to visit." You don't know if it's just your imagination or if the messenger of the gods is actually mocking your fear. But something paralyzes your body. Among all the broken statues, one stares at you, not with eyes, but with memory. On her arm, the same scar, the same curve of her finger. You're staring at yourself, petrified. How is this possible? If Medusa has touched your life before this encounter, have you died here before?
A whisper pierces the cave. It's not Medusa's voice, but the voice of the curse that envelops her like skin. It glides along the walls, enters your ears, and seems to know your very thoughts. It's as if the darkness itself speaks to you. Suddenly, images flood your mind. You see a temple, white columns, flaming torches, sacred silence. It's the temple of Athena, and there stands Medusa, still human, kneeling before the goddess she's sworn to serve. Her eyes hold no hatred, only faith, purity. Until the doors burst open, Poseidon enters, not as god of the seas, but as predator. The temple trembles with the weight of his will. The scene shatters, but the message is clear. It was there that everything shattered. The whisper mingles with another sensation, cold, distant, yet sharp. It's the god's reaction. Athena watches the act with stony eyes, without moving a muscle, as if the temple's honor were worth more than the innocence of her priestess. Poseidon disappears without a backward glance, leaving only a trace of the crime. And Zeus remains silent, neither condemning nor defending. He simply lets fate unfold on Medusa's shoulders. Your vision shatters like a stone struck by a hammer. You fall to your knees. The cold floor, the sound of your own breath, that's all that remains. and yet something lingers inside you, as if the curse has chosen a new body to speak. And then the question echoes, cutting deeper than any sword. Why would the gods create a monster and then fear it more than the titans themselves?
The images return as if they were memories that were never yours. You see her differently, before the curse. Medusa is no longer the monster of legend, but a young priestess. Her gaze is serene, her skin golden from the sun, her hair falling in black waves as if part of the night. In the temple of Athena, she lives to serve, offering silence and purity. No desire, no sin, only devotion. But Olympus respects no innocence. The temple doors burst open, Poseidon enters, bringing the scent of raging seas, eyes that ask no permission. The ground trembles beneath his feet. The sacred temple becomes the stage for a forbidden act, a crime that will not be forgotten nor forgiven. The scene breaks. Now Athena dominates the space. She looks at Medusa, but sees no victim. She sees only the desecration of what was hers. The goddess's face remains cold, tearless, without compassion, and her sentence falls not on the invader, but on the servant. The beauty that once enchanted is twisted into a curse. The brightness of her eyes becomes poison. Her hair dissolves into living serpents that coil and hiss like a whip. Innocence is destroyed, and in its place arises terror. A laugh echoes in the void. Aphrodite, ever cynical, is amused. Finally, someone's beauty turned others to stone before me. You feel injustice burn brighter than fire. If even a goddess was capable of punishing innocence, what chance do you have?
You take another step into the cave, and the sound echoes like forbidden thunder. The silence breaks, the shadows shift, and then she awakens. Medusa slowly raises her head, and with her a chorus of serpents rises in unison. Each eye glows like a rotten star, illuminating the darkness with a sickly light. The hissing sound is like sharp blades dragging across the floor. The first impact is invisible but brutal. The shield in your hands shatters as if made of clay. The spear you carry shatters before it can be used. Around you, other warriors who dared to come this far turn to stone dust, as if the air itself has turned to poison. The battlefield becomes a maze of broken statues, cracked columns, and stone eyes that still seem to stare back at you. The serpents advance, coiling in the air like living whips. One strikes the floor inches from your face, shattering the marble as if it were glass. The space closes in, and every wrong move could be your last. Medusa herself appears between the shattered columns. Her gaze isn't just a threat, it's a sentence. You feel the weight of the curse as if it were already within you. Every muscle trembles, every breath seems watched. But amidst the chaos, a crueler truth creeps into his mind. Medusa didn't ask to be this way. She is the product of a goddess's vengeance and a god's violence. If you confront her, you are fulfilling the justice of the gods. If you spare her, you are defying Olympus itself. The blood pulses in his temples. The echo of serpents surrounds him. The question rises like a sword about to fall. Do you fight Medusa or the gods who created her?
From the shadows, Medusa advances, no longer just a figure, but in all her fury. The serpents rise like living crowns, each hissing with its own hunger. The sound is deafening, like hundreds of blades being sharpened simultaneously. The air grows heavy, the darkness vibrates, and you know there is no turning back. Her eyes glow like two rotting moons, and even without looking directly into them, you feel the heat of the curse burning your skin. Every muscle trembles. Each misstep could turn your body to stone forever. You raise what's left of your weapon, but doubt is sharper than any blade. If you look into her eyes, you might have a chance to strike, to win, but in that same instant, your life could freeze forever. If you look away, refuse to look, you might breathe for a few more moments, but you will die blind, defenseless, like everyone else around you. The ground cracks as her tail slams against the stone. Fragments fly, striking your face, cutting your skin. Hot blood drips, the last proof that you're still human. The serpents lunge like living whips, each too fast to block. You can't retreat. Deep in my mind, the question throbs, cruel, inevitable. How many died trying to resist? How many became mere statues in their path? The silence of the surrounding figures answers better than any myth. She steps closer. The cold breath of the curse touches her mouth as if trying to steal her last breath. His eyes are just a few feet from hers. And then, for the first time, you hear it. The voice isn't monstrous. It's broken, human. You came to kill a monster. But what if all that monster wanted was to be seen? The silence weighs like a sentence. The moment has arrived. Do you face it and try to kill it? Or do you turn away, accepting certain death? On Olympus, even survival has a price, and you have to decide, is it worth surviving if you have to turn to stone to do so?
Everything stops. The gods freeze. The air goes silent. There are no screams. There is no more light. The urn still pulses, but now slowly, heavily, as if it knows something larger is approaching. You try to move, but your body won't obey. And then you hear it. A dry sound, too soft to be natural. The golden snitch touches the ground and begins to roll. Small, harmless, but each turn resonates as if fate is being ensnared in its own trap. The apple rests at your feet, 3 incandescent words engraved on its surface. To the fairest. You look up and see Athena, Aphrodite, Hera. The 3 stare at you, unblinking, unsmiling, and then she appears. Eris, discord. She doesn't walk, she doesn't fly, she simply is. As if she'd always been there. Her eyes don't shine, but they do entertain. And when she opens her mouth, it's as if Olympus breathes poison. The last time someone hesitated, they became a constellation. Beautiful, but alone. She points to the apple, then to you. Now it's your turn, and I hope you choose better. The goddesses remain motionless, but the air between them vibrates as if invisible blades are crossing. Hera doesn't smile. Aphrodite doesn't blink. Athena just waits. There is no right, no fair, only consequences. The snitch begins to float, and no one else seems to breathe. Not the gods, not you. Only Eris, who whispers with delight, choose, or we all fall together. And then, for the first time since it all began, the fear inside you is greater than what's around you.
Perseus's blade reflects the dim light of the cave, but before he can advance, something stronger invades his mind. The darkness distorts, and visions begin to form. First, Hera appears, shrouded in golden veils that move like invisible serpents. Her voice is cold, yet sweet as poison. Hand over her head. Only then will you prove yourself worthy to survive. Behind her, Athena appears, not the guiding goddess of wisdom, but the stone-eyed warrior. She doesn't smile, she simply watches, as if she's already calculated all her choices and all possible endings. Her sentence doesn't need to be spoken. Her silence is already in order. And then Aphrodite reveals herself. Her wry smile cuts the air, indifferent to the weight of the scene. Choosing has never been difficult, even when all options lead to war. Her laughter echoes like a shard of pleasure amidst the terror. At the center of it all, Medusa. Her voice isn't a scream, isn't a plea. It's just a whisper, broken by desperation. Don't say anything. Don't look at them. Be silent, or we will all die. But Perseus advances. His shield rises. His blade gleams. He sees no visions, hears no voices. He simply fulfills his mission. And now, the weight of all Olympus bears down upon you. 3 goddesses vie for your decision, a hero ready to kill, and a cursed creature begging to be forgotten. You must choose. Hand over Medusa and prove your loyalty to the gods, or face them, risking destruction from those who never lose. His heart pounds like a hammer in his throat. Every breath is a sharp edge between betrayal and sacrifice. And then the dilemma looms before you, cruel, inescapable. Would you save the monster, or betray the only creature more cursed than you?
The ground trembles first like a distant warning. Then the cavern ceiling cracks into 1,000 lines of light. Fragments of stone fall like dead stars, and the silence is shattered by an avalanche of destruction. You have no time to decide. You are simply swept along with the ruin. Your body plummets into the darkness, swallowed by the void. Perseus's blade disappears from your vision, but something else falls with you, the golden apple that slipped from your hand. It spins in the air, reflecting sparks of light that briefly illuminate the abyss. For a moment, you don't know if you're falling or if the entire world has crumbled toward you. The impact isn't stone, but water. You sink into an underground river, cold as death, violent as a sea at war. The current drags your body mercilessly, crashing it against hidden rocks. The pummel glows beside you, spinning as if alive, driven by the same fate. Amidst the liquid darkness, a voice echoes, deep, mouthless, without origin. Medusa's death is not her end, but the beginning of a greater war. Images explode before your eyes, Troy in flames, walls crumbling, warriors falling on blood-stained beaches. On the horizon, figures of winged women, Gorgons, avengers, cutting through the sky with screams that make even the sea part in despair. Blood flows in waves, dyeing the water red, until you don't know whether to breathe or swallow the prophecy itself. And in the last instant, before being swallowed by the darkness of the river, the snitch slowly spins before you. The golden reflection reveals its face, not human, not whole. Something has changed, something has already begun.
The current drags you along until your lungs burn. When you finally emerge, the world around you is no longer the same. The air is heavy, dense, as if each breath is weighted with iron. You are not on Olympus. You are not in the land of mortals. The riverbanks are made of ash. Broken columns rise like broken teeth. On the horizon, black flames dance, consuming nothing, only illuminating a sky that has never seen the sun. You have fallen into a new realm, the Underworld. The sensation is immediate. Here, there is no silence. There are murmurs, voices that never rest. Every step echoes among shadows that seem to watch, waiting for you to discover what should never be revealed. The pommel still glows in his hand, but the light emanating from it seems dimmer, as if even the gold is afraid of where it now stands. And then the prophecy he heard in the cave returns, but stronger, darker. If Medusa held a secret that even the gods feared, imagine what Hades keeps buried down here. You didn't escape. You just fell deeper into the game. If surviving Medusa's gaze was already impossible, wait until you see when the Lord of the Underworld opens his gates. Subscribe and stay with us. The next chapter picks up right where this one leaves off.